Well, welcome to our 5th week together. We are right at the halfway mark, and I'm sure the first 4 weeks have gone by really fast for you. The next 4 weeks are sure to go by just as fast. We have a lot of work to cover, but I know it's going to be a lot of fun, and it will go by very quickly. And before you know it, we will be at our last week together. This week, you should have already turned in your event story, and I will be looking at those very soon. This week you also have your business story that's due. These are your back-to-back assignments. They're very similar. Your event story covered more of like a news-related event. Your business story kind of mixes all of those elements together. The profile, the feature writing, the event story kind of narrative telling. So that's what you have due this week. Let's go ahead, before I get too much further, go ahead and jump into our course material for this week. So here we go. So this week we are exploring the different elements of good storytelling. Now you have some good strong video lectures, TED Talk. I'm sure you're very familiar with the TED Talk lectures. There's about 3 on this page that are really good lectures on good storytelling. Now they come from different approach, more of the creative script writing approach, but the elements are very applicable to journalistic feature storytelling. You know, stories that seek to inspire hope and encouragement and change, or some kind of action. Now, there is a little bit of language in some of these videos. I haven't listened to them in a little while, but I know that there's just a little bit, so I apologize for that. But the things that they say there are very applicable to what you're writing now. We're also going to be diving into getting back into the social media part. Search engine optimization basics. Now, we're not going to dive in deep to this, but this is something important that you need to know as you're writing, especially for writing anything in the online world, anything in the digital sphere. Search engine optimization, SEO, is very important to you when you're publishing a blog, for people to be able to find that blog. So you'll be learning a little bit about this in your lectures this week. It's also important for you, if you're getting into like the digital world, to pay attention to your analytics. We talk a little bit about that on Facebook, Instagram. How are people looking at your content, and how many people are coming to you? How are they coming to you? These are all things that you want to pay attention to so you can optimize your content to really hit that target audience that you're trying to reach. So paying attention to your analytics, all those statistical information is very important to you. Now, I'm not a statistics person, but I love looking at the data to really see how I can continue to hit that target. So those are things that you want to pay attention to. Again, this week I told you that you have your business story that's due. Be sure that you are reviewing your feedback on your stories. You should have already gotten your character profile back and taken a look at that. Your event story will come back this week. Take a look at those things, because the things that the feedback that I give you, some of the common mistakes that perhaps you're making, you can take that and apply it to your next story going forward. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always shoot me an email if I need to clarify something. You also still have the opportunity to turn in a draft on Wednesday night. Some of you guys have been doing that. I think it really helps your overall grade. It helps you going into that deadline on Sunday. So if you want to take advantage of that, get that to me. Just email me a draft. I don't grade it. It's just for me to take a look at it and give you some feedback on how you can improve before your deadline. On your chapter reading this week, we have chapters 7 and 9. And now this is, if you have any kind of journalistic background, a lot of this will just be kind of a refresher. These chapters really just cover media ethics and basics of media ethics and media law. And again, if you have a journalistic background, if you've taken a media ethics and law class, this is really just a refresher, an important refresher, so I would pay attention to these. They're not very long, so don't worry about getting bogged down in these details, but it is good for you to know, especially as you're writing for stuff online, or you'll be writing stuff down the road. So it's just a brief review. Chapter 7 is a brief refresher for those of you who have that background. What are the moral implications of the message that you're communicating? This applies to journalistic writing as much as it applies to public relations writing or advertising writing. These are the things that you want to consider as you're approaching this field, as you're writing your stories. One of the things that we cover a lot in journalism, or talk about a lot, is this idea of objectivity. Now, can we really be objective? Everyone comes to the table with a background, a set of ideas, preconceptions, a worldview. And so the question is, can you really be objective when you're writing stories? But as a journalist, in journalistic writing, the idea is that you identify what your biases are. You know what they are. You know what you're going into. You know what you bring to the table, and you try your very best to suspend those or set those aside. Not giving up your convictions or abandoning them, but to give the benefit of the doubt to the other story. And your book talks a lot about that dialectic and considering the other person's argument. So those are the things that you want to consider as we're looking at this idea of objectivity. Again, not abandoning your convictions, and certainly as a Christian, as a believer, there are certain non-negotiables that I will never abandon. But as I'm writing a story, I want to maintain that objectivity. And so those are the things that you need to consider as you approach writing stories. And then the chapter 9 is just the basics of media law, like copyright issues, plagiarism, etc. And those are things that you obviously are very important, but those are just refreshers, First Amendment issues. So that is it for this week. This week you have your business story that is due, along with your social media plan or write-up and your blog publishing. If you have any questions, again, about any of your assignments or concerns, you can always shoot me an email. I'm always just an email away, and I'm very happy to help. Many of you guys have been really good about that, checking your email and reaching out to me if you need help. So I pray you guys have a great week, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email.